Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing a review for Dark Beach, issue number 1. So, yeah, I got this at Florida Supercon, and as you can tell, it's signed by both the creator and one of the artists, and one of the artists right here. So, yeah, Dark Beach. So, they basically, very fast before I actually get into the review, as I'm leaving the convention, they kind of pull me over, hey, you like comics or whatever, hey, you want to read this, check it out, $2 or something like that. You can review it if you like, because I told them I had a YouTube channel, so I'm like, yeah, I'll review it. So yeah, I read the first issue, and now let's get into it. So yeah, I believe this is a mini series. If I'm not mistaken, it's a mini series. I believe that they said it's like somewhere between 4 and 6 issues, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, give or take. So yeah. Before I begin, though, 10-second spoiler warning as usual. For those who have yet to actually watch this, who have yet to actually read this comic book and haven't already, stop the video, go check it out, and come back and watch the rest of this review. I'll leave a link somewhere down below where you could probably get a comic. So yeah, when I get that information, so I'll leave a link down below where you could get the comic possibly. And yeah, and that's yeah. So now 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those who have yet to actually watch, who have yet to actually read this comic book and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me. Then I will give you a fair warning, because as usual, I did. So yeah, as usual, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then the rate. So yeah, this is kind of like a neo-noir type of comic book, like futuristic neo-noir, kind of in the vein of Blade Runner, in my opinion, or Brazil, which is, yeah. So basically, you have it seems like the sun has gone out, so to speak. It's left, and this new society is now trying to find a new source of light, because the sun has vanished or whatever. So now they're trying to find a new source of light, and a really popular source of light is artificial light or artificial sun, but seems to be really dangerous to whoever consumes it or whoever takes it in. I guess that's how you say it. And yes, and one day our main character, which I don't think is given a name. I didn't see a name. Yeah. Was there a name for the character? Whatever. So one day our main character, he kind of comes across this murder, and it kind of seems like that's his job or like his hobby, that he kind of just goes around searches for like murders or whatever. But he comes across this girl who was murdered, and he's basically investigating the murder of this girl, who she was, what she did, and whatever. And it seems that she was one of these people who was into the artificial sun. Her name was Kit, if I'm not mistaken, or Kat, or something like that. Let me go to the page very fast where I said her name. Nope. Kit or Cat. Let's see, where was it? Ket. K-E-T. Ket. So yeah, you have this girl named Ket. She was murdered, and he's basically trying to figure out who murdered her. And at the end of the issue, you have this big black guy who kind of beats him up and says, don't go around searching for stuff that doesn't concern you. Forget about this case. And it kind of just leaves you at that. Our main character is thinking about the murder, what could have happened, and also thinking about the sun. And yeah, now for first issue, I don't know what to say for it. I'll say the artwork is great. Okay, I'll say the artwork is great. Okay, and I know it sounds like I always say that for every single comic book issue or comic book in general. The artwork is great, but for me, the artwork is something that normally is great in my opinion. Like, even if the writing sucks, the artwork for me is normally great. The writings where we have to get into. Okay, so they kind of go for this kind of philosophical, in a sense, with the old sun and the new sun, and how the society is at this point, because this is like in the future. They kind of go for this kind of philosophical view of life, in a sense. Now the thing is that since this is the first issue, we don't really get that much of this philosophical view on life. Okay, so it kind of leaves you hanging because some of this philosophical view on life based on the sun also kind of goes into this murder mystery. And again, it kind of leaves you hanging. Hanging, I wouldn't say it leaves you wanting more. Like, do I want to read issue 2? Sure, I'd read issue 2. But I wouldn't go searching for it, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't go searching for it out of my way, searching for it or whatever. But if I happen to find issue 2, like, yeah, sure, I'd buy it. So, yeah. And I think that's the issue with that's a problem with the first issue, the fact that they kind of set up this philosophical view and it's not really clear. And I understand, they are trying to entice the readers to buy issues 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 or whatever, but you have to give, when it comes to a first issue, you have to at least give the readers something to pick up on. And and I reread this 3 times. Sorry, I reread it 3 times. And honestly, I never really got the message or the point. And I'll probably reread it more after this just to see if I missed something. But I feel like that's a problem. That unless you have the full story, the message they're trying to put out doesn't really make sense. So just having issue 1 and reading and looking at the message from issue 1 just doesn't make sense unless you have issues 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's my problem with Dark Beach issue number 1. The fact that their message kind of relies on you buying the whole thing. And again, I do understand they are trying to entice the readers to buy more of the issues. And honestly, for me, that could go either way. I could see readers wanting to buy all the other issues because they want to see this message and the murder mystery, but at the same time, I could see this turning off a lot of readers. And for me, I'm kind of in the middle. It didn't really turn me off, but then again, I really wouldn't go searching for this again. As I said before, if I find issue number 2 or if I find any other issue of this miniseries, sure, I'd pick it up for a good price, if it's at a good price, reasonable price. But I wouldn't be searching out, searching it up, wondering if my comic book shop has it. So that's how I feel about it. The writing is what really the writings what could turn people off. That's what I'm gonna go with. The writings, like, the make it or break it for in my opinion. For me, I like the idea of their philosophy, but it's not really complete, and because of that, I could see people being turned off. If this was just a straight murder mystery, it'd be great, but due to the fact that they do kind of add this kind of philosophical view with the sun and whatever, and life, that's the part that's gonna turn people off. And because of the fact that kind of goes into the murder mystery, it may turn more people off. So again, I can see the writing going either way for some readers. And yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And yeah, that's basically it for now. Subscribe, comment down below, like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.